Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight I'm actually going to do a modifications of the car. I know you guys, my previous couple videos have been me just kind of talking and kind of just blabbering my mouth, whatever. But tonight I'm actually going to do a mod that I've been wanting to do for a while. I've had these sequential turn signals on the mirrors for over a year now, and I went through two different sets. I actually have a video on it a while back. If you take a look, I'll link it up in the top right corner for you guys, just so you can see what video I'm talking about. But I had a similar set, but it was a clear lens, and it had, I guess, white backing, and it stood out a little bit too much, so I got these, which are a little bit, they're kind of smoked, so they blend in a little bit more. But either way, they're sequential. They're different than the OEM ones. They're just a normal, blinking LED. These are actually sequential, so they look much more updated and cleaner. But another function of these that I did not hook up yet is they have a DRL function, a daytime running light function. So I'll show you in a second what the blinker looks like. Basically, the blinker is, the normal orange or amber, whatever you want to call it. And the daytime running light also has a white running light. So basically I'll be running these on, as well as my normal daytime running light, which is, I have it as for the strip down here. I don't have it in the normal OEM area, the high beam area. I turned those off, which I unplugged. So I just run the strip lights as a DRL. So eventually I'm going to do the C lights as well. But on the side, I'll have the mirrors running as DRLs as well. I've kind of debated going back and forth whether to do this or not. I'm not sure if I would like it, but it's simply just tapping into a wire inside the door panel, and I'll show you which wire that is once I get in there. But it's pretty straightforward. It's nothing crazy. So if I don't like it, all I got to do is just unplug that wire. It's nothing that I can't reverse. So I'll see how I like it. I'll run with it for a little bit, and then I'll decide from there if I want them or not. But I figure I might as well do it. I have the time now, and it's something that I've been meaning to do. This is one of those things I just said, hey, I'll do it at some point, and I guess now is at some point. So let me crack into this. Let me get through. I'm going to take off the two covers here, and there's a really long white wire that I shoved into a hole over in the mirror, which I'll show you. And I basically got to run it down to here and into the panel of the interior panel of the in the inside. And there's one wire that I'll just tap into, and it's simply that's it. But let's get into it, and I'll show you exactly what you need to do. Here you go. This is the passenger side. I'll show you a little bit more in depth on the driver's side of how I got this out, but I wanted to do the passenger side just to make sure that I was doing everything right. And before I put it on camera, I wanted to make sure it was, I didn't hit any speed bumps or anything like that, because I wanted to show you guys exactly how to do this. But basically, I already have these installed. And the easiest way to do it is to completely remove the mirror from the door, simply because you have to run this white wire, which is from here down into the arm and through the gasket here. And then you just tap into one of the wires on the door harness, which is very simple to do. You just use one of these. And again, I'll show you that in a second. But I wanted to show you that I got the passenger side off. There's a door panel. Here's a little bit of, I guess, in the myths of it. It seems confusing, but it's very straightforward. Again, I'll go over a little bit more detail on that side, but I wanted to do this side real quick, just so I can make sure I was doing it right before I told you guys exactly how to do it. So yeah, there's a little bit of an update. Mirrors off, passenger side. Just need to run the wire, and we'll be set. All right, guys, so that took a little bit of, I guess, investigating and searching around for the right wire. Basically, the passenger side wires are different than the driver's side. They're different colors. So there's not really much on the internet and people's reviews and do it yourselves and everything that show the passenger side, because basically everyone's just tapping into the fuse box. I don't want to do that. There's power to the door from the mirrors and the locks and everything like that, as well as, well, I don't have a door panel in there, but the switches for the windows, they light up no matter what. As soon as the car's ignition is on, it gets power. So I wanted to tap into that instead of running the wire through the entire dash of the car. So now anytime that the ignition is on, these will click on. And I wanted to show you what wire to tap into on the passenger side because I cannot find a video on it. And this will definitely help some people because this took me about 45 minutes to figure out on my own. So before I put the panel back on, all you want to do is, obviously I ran everything through the mirror, the white wire, and I brought it out through the OEM harness or the wire and everything. So everything is exactly the same. And what you want to do, this is the plug that plugs right into, there's two plugs. This one goes to the unlock button, and this one goes to the window. And if you look in the back, this is a 2017 STI for anybody that's wondering. You want to look, I'll put some pictures in, a more clear picture, because for whatever reason it's not focusing right now. You want to tap into the green and black wire right here, the green and black wire. So if you look on the back, it's on the top, it's in the middle. So all you want to do is just tap into that with one of these, and then you just put the white wire into the tap, and you'll get power. Make sure you have good connection, because at first I did that. I put this in, and I wasn't getting power, and I was getting really confused. And then I realized that the little metal pin that's in there that you can't really see wasn't pushed down all the way, so it didn't have a good bite on the wire. So make sure that you have it all the way down, make sure you get a good connection, and then you'll get a result like this. So it's pretty cool. You can wire it up. I've seen some people wiring up to the dome lights, so they pop on when you walk up to the car and you unlock it. But I didn't want that because I have the blinkers and everything showing up or turning on when I unlock the car. It's kind of my welcoming. These are just kind of, I thought it'd be just kind of cool just to run them with the DRLs when the car is on. But yeah, pretty cool little mod. So I'm going to show a little bit more detail on the driver's side, just exactly what you need to do. So anybody that is looking to do this, they'll know exactly what to do. But I wanted to point out that the passenger side wiring is different color, and I wanted to let you know exactly which one that was, so there's no confusion at all. Also, I just wanted to mention a quick tip before you put the panel back on. I always do this anytime I take a panel off. First, make sure that there's none of these white plastic clips. These things are stuck in the door. If they are, just pop them out and put them back in the door card. But what I always do, just to eliminate any type of rattling that could possibly happen, is put some electrical tape on the hole and then poke a little hole through it, just so the plastic clip sits in really well, and it helps eliminate any rattles, because plastic against metal, it can get really annoying. And doing this little tiny quick little step will help eliminate any extra noises that could possibly happen, because once you remove some pieces of the car, it can introduce new rattles. So you just want to be sure that you're doing everything you can to make sure that no new rattles come about. So I always do that. Put some black electrical tape right over the hole, take a screwdriver, poke a little hole through it, and then the plastic clip goes right in there, and it gives it a nice connection, a nice seat in the hole right there. So just a quick tip. All right, guys, so it's actually the next day. I just did the passenger side last night, and then it got to the point where my wife wanted to watch Chris D'Elia's new comedy show on Netflix, No Pain, so I decided to just call it quits and then finish up tonight. That's the nice thing about, I guess, this whole quarantine thing, is I didn't have to rush to finish the project. So I was able to kind of do it, half of it one night, and then kind of pick up tonight and finish up this side. So this side, I'm going to do a little bit more in-depth detail, exactly how to do it. Because the passenger side, like I said earlier, that I kind of just wanted to walk through it on my own, make sure I knew all the ins and outs before I actually explained what to do. But yeah, so we're gonna knock this side out right now, and I will give you step by step exactly what you need to take off. All right, so first things first, what I did is I'm going to take off the cap and the lower trim here, just because you're gonna have to take it off later for access, and it's easier to do on the car. And for the lower trim, all you do is want to take the corner here over on this side, pop it loose, and that comes out really easily. This is what you have now. Second part is you're literally just removing the top, the cap. So you kind of want to just go under here It's on there pretty firm. I got the mirror released. It's on there so firmly that I ended up getting a pry tool and sticking it up in the corner right here and kind of popping it out a little bit. So it is removed. I just had it there just so you guys can see me actually taking it off. But as you can see in there, that's where the white wire is I have shoved in there. Again, I already had these installed, so it's just a matter of running that wire down through the arm here and into the door card and the panel, the door harness. So that's basically what we're doing, but you need to remove a lot of things just to run that little white wire to get to where you need to go. So here's the mirror caps. I did a video on these, but they were never off. So as you can see, it's actually a full replacement. You know, it's not actually the caps or you know, the overlays that go over on top. It's actually a full replacement, which is really nice and what I wanted. I didn't want the little 3M tape pieces that you can get. But yeah, I figured I would show that while it's off. The next step you want to do, we're also going to be taking the mirror off, but I'm going to do that off the car. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to be taking off the door card. And the way to do that is the first things you need to do, there are 2 screws. There's one right there and one behind the handle right here. And I'll show you in a second, but you just take out like a little flathead screwdriver, pop those little covers off, and there'll be 2 Phillips head screws. All right, so here's my flathead. I'm just going to go in here, put in that little groove, pop it up, and you see there's a screw in there. Same thing on this side. Put in that little groove, pop it open, and there's a screw. Got the 2 screws out. Now I'm going to work on getting the actual panel off. Everything is just pop clips. They're all around the perimeter. So they start from here, they go all the way around up to that side. But the best place to start that I've found is there's kind of like a little groove here on the armrest or the upper area here. And I get a pry tool. I don't know if I can do this one-handed, but just kind of get in there and pop it out. And then now you got some access to get your pry tool in the lower area and kind of work your way around. And the top part here, I'll show you too. There's kind of like a groove that overhangs here, so you don't have to worry about once you get all these off. It's not going to fall. There's also wires and harnesses connected to this that you're going to have to remove as well. So it's not going to just fall on the ground, so you don't have to be worried about that. All right, so all the pop clips are off. As you can see, it's loose from the car, but there's like a little overhang here. So all you do is just pick it up and kind of, you know, rest on that little hanger there. And then the whole panel comes off. But as you can see in here, there's a few connections that you need to remove in order to get the whole panel off. There's the, I don't know if I can get an angle, but whoops, I just locked the car. The top one is the lock and the bottom one is the handle, the cables. And then we have a plug there, which is the unlock button. And then the plugs over here are for everything else, all the windows, the mirrors and stuff like that. So just gonna unplug them, are really simple to remove. And then we can remove the whole door card. Card's off. I decided to leave it on because for one connection connected, which is the bigger plug down there, mainly because the release, the clip on the clip is facing the actual inside of the door, and it's hard to get your hands in there. And I really don't need to access or get the whole panel off to get everywhere I need to be. Because on this plug right here that I've already moved is the plug that or the wire that I'll need to tap into. Everything else is up here to get the mirror off. So I'm just going to lean this against the door and we'll be good. So the passenger side was a little bit easier because there's less plugs, but I'm deciding I'm not gonna even mess with it. It's not worth my time. So now simply just going to remove the mirror. There's obviously this plastic in the way. So all you gotta do is just peel back. There's just some kind of like gooey adhesive, which sticks right back when you're done. But as you can sort of see, there's one and then another screw on right above it, 2. And in this hole, there's 3. So there's 3 bolts that you need to remove to take the whole entire mirror assembly off. But the first thing you want to do is unplug right here, which is the plug to the mirror, because you need to take the whole thing out in order to get the wire pulled through. So the first thing I'm going to do is unplug that. And then I'll show you me unscrewing these. Just be careful when you're doing these. You don't drop them. So you want to keep a hand on them. Luckily, there's big enough space so you can stick your finger in and hold the screw or the bolt, whatever you want to call it. as you're taking them out. Because if you drop it, it's going in between the door, the outside door and the metal here, and it's going to create a lot of rattle. So be really careful when you're taking those out. So I got a 10 millimeter with an extension on my ratchet, and I'm simply going to get up. I already took one out right there. I'm just going to get the top one. I don't know if I'll really be able to get you an angle, but oh boy. So this is going to be too hard doing one hand, but you get the idea. All you want to do, once you get to the point where you're able to get out with your hand, just stick your finger in there and pull the bolt out with it, just so you don't drop it in. All right, so I got the 3 bolts out. The one in here, on the passenger side, there's a little bit, you can stick your hand in this one, and you're able to get your finger so you can hold the bolt. This one, there's literally no room to get your finger in, so you just got to be really careful. The nice thing is it's kind of angled up, so when you pull the extension out, it's kind of angled up, so you know, it won't technically fall, but you do need to be careful. It gets a little sketchy. Thankfully, I didn't drop it. A good thing to do is you can probably put something sticky on the end of the ratchet or the 10 millimeter, so you know the bolt sticks on there and it won't drop. And then when you tighten it down, it'll be easy to take off. So that's just a little tip if you want to do that and make sure it doesn't fall. But now, since I got those bolts out, this will be free. You know, it's loose, but there's a little rubber grommet in there that kind of holds it into place. So all you gotta do is just pull it out. And I already unplugged the harness for this. All right, so we got the mirror off the car. This was a little harder to get out on the driver's side. Seems to be a little bit more metal and pieces in the way to get this plug out, but you can manipulate it and find a certain path that it goes to get it out. It took me a little bit longer, but either way, you're able to take it out. So this is what we're looking at. I need to get to this white wire that I have bunched up in there. And basically I'm going to stick it through. You got to take the mirror out, and there's a little, I don't know if you can see in there where all the wires are going in that little hole. That's where I want to put it through, and it's going to come directly out of this side of this grommet right here, and it's going to look OEM and really clean. So let me pop the mirror off, and then I'll show you exactly how I get the wire through. All right, so I got the wire fished through just into the front. I still need to do it down in this part, but so it's going through here, and if you turn it on the other side, you can see I got the wire pulled all the way through. Now it's just a matter of getting it down into that metal wire. I don't even know what you want to call it, the metal grommet or whatever. But what I used is some weed whacker line, you know, pretty strong stuff. All I'm going to do is tape. I'm going to stick this through the bottom, through the hole over here. Let me just move this grommet. You can see the hole where the wire comes out. I'm going to stick the weed whacker line up through the hole right there, and it's going to pop out up top here. And all I'm going to do is just tape this up to the line, and then make sure it's on there really well, and then just pull it through, and that will fish the line right through that hole. Whacker line pulled through the little wire harness here. I got it taped up. Duct tape is best to use since it's much stronger than electrical tape. And I got it taped to the white wire. And all I'm going to simply do is, I don't think I'll be able to get you an angle, but just find kind of a groove for it to go in. And then pull it through. And you just want to fish all the extra white wire down so it looks very OEM. So there you go. You can't even tell which one it is. It's nice and clean. And then I'm simply going to run it through this grommet here, and it's going to pop out here. And then I'm just going to retape this up, and I'll show you that in a second. It looks OEM. There's just a white wire coming out of here, but it looks very, very clean. And yeah, so let me get that done, and I'll update you guys in a second. I run, there's two of them, but the cleaner white wire is the one that we just did. Snaked it through here, and I got it come right out the same grommet hole. I didn't make any new holes or anything. I just did the same thing with the weed whacker wire, just pull it right through. And then it has a nice clean white wire coming out. Obviously this is way too long, and I'm gonna end up trimming it. But yeah, so all we gotta do is basically put this back on the car, reinstall everything on the mirror, and then we're gonna do the connection with the wire tap right here. And I'll show you which wire you need to do. So almost there. All right, so mirror's back on, screwed down, got all the covers and everything back on. And over here, I got the wires pulled through where it needs to go. You just wanna make sure you wanna plug that in real quick. And then I'll show you what plug you need to go into to tap this wire into, and then we can button everything up and we'll be done. All right, so I'll get everything put back exactly how it is. I have the white wire coming out right where all the other wires are. And now, oh, I figured I would show you guys as well. These are the kicker speakers that I do have installed in the car. So yeah, there they are. Nothing crazy, but OEM, it just plugs right in. All right, so now we're gonna be tapping the wire that we need. And if you look, this is, I don't know how many pins this is, but it's not, there's minus the huge one that I still have connected right there. I have this one, which is the smaller one. That one goes towards the lock. This is, you don't need this one. You want the bigger one. All right, so here's the plug. I'm on the side, just so you guys get a perspective. If you look on this plug, on the top right, there is the yellow and the yellow wire with the blue line. It's actually, you can see on the right there, that's the wire you want to tap into. I had to peel back the electrical tape right here a little bit just so I can get a little more access to this wire, but I will end up putting more electrical tape on it, make sure the connection is secure. So all I'm gonna do is take that wire tap it into there, get the white wire that's hanging down there and tap it into the same tap. I just said tap way too many times, but you get the idea. I'll show you exactly what it looks like, the final product, and then we'll button everything up and we'll be done. Okay, so here we go. I have the wire tapped, white wire in, nice and closed up. I'm just gonna take some electrical tape and wrap this up just so there's a nice secure connection and all that end is covered. Not that it really matters, but that's just the OCD in me. So let's do a test before we button everything back, just to make sure everything works. And yeah, so let's test it out. All right, cool. Turned it on, got power, which is really nice. So now we can tape everything up, make it look good, button everything back up, and then I'll show you the finished product and how everything looks when the blinkers turn on and all that. But pretty happy. Can't really get to that side right now, but pretty happy with the outcome. So let's get everything buttoned up and take a good look at the new mod. All right, guys, all done. Everything's all buttoned up. Everything looks awesome. Everything's working, which is the best part. But yeah, I mean, the install is, I guess, a little bit more involved. If you know, this is why I kind of held off on it for a while, mainly because I didn't feel like taking all that stuff apart, running the wires and everything. Just for one wire, it's pretty crazy how much you have to remove. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's just, it's more work than you normally would want to do to install, you know, turn signals on the mirror. To install just the turn signals, I already have a video on that, which I linked in the earlier in the video from over a year ago, to how to install them. It's literally all you have to do is pop those two covers off and then two screws to unscrew the actual turn signal. But to run the actual DRL harness or DRL wire, it's a little bit more work than, you know, the average install. But I'm happy it's done. I've been wanting to do this for over a year. You know, and I was back and forth on it if I really wanted it. But now that it's installed, I'm really happy with how it looks. The light is really, really nice. It's not crazy bright. On camera, it looks a little bit brighter than it actually is in person. It's a little bit more subdued. It looks a little bit washed out on camera, but I assure you in person, it's much more subtle. It's not in your face. It's not super bright or anything like that. But it definitely looks good. And I think it will add a nice little touch to the car. You know, just driving down the road with the daytime running lights on. Obviously they're not on now because the car's not on. But let me show you the actual functions of them. This is just what the car looks like when it's on, no matter what time of the day. It's even when the headlights and everything are on, they'll be on as well. But when you turn the turn signals on, it changes. So let me turn them on real quick. So as you can see, it flipped over to the amber sequential. Really nice. Adds a much more updated look to it. The stock ones are very, I don't know, you can't hardly see the blinker on it. It's basically one LED that has a diffuser on it. And it's very, very, it's not bright at all. It doesn't look good. But this is nice and bright, very cool, updates it. I don't have any other sequentials on the car, so I guess that's the only gripe. You know, I can get sequentials down there, or you can do the C lights and everything and that, but I don't like when there's 15 blinkers up front. Some people do, you know, the strip lights here as a sequential turn signal. They do that as a sequential, and they also do the C lights as a sequential. I mean, how many blinkers do you need up front? It's a little too much. I much prefer just the single. I actually opted not to do the switchbacks on these because I just wanted the white light. I didn't want a turn signal. But I don't know, that's just not my thing. I mean, it looks okay, but I think there's just too many blinkers up front when people do that. My C lights do have that function that I'm going to install, but I'm not going to install the function. I'm just simply going to use it as a C light. But I mean, yeah, there's the turn signal, and then when you flip off the blinker, they go right back to the white, which is really nice. Cool little feature. You know, there's not a real much of a lag time. It kind of turns right back on as soon as you turn the blinker off. So there's nothing weird about it. It doesn't blink on randomly or anything like that. But really cool. Really happy with the look of it. Kind of hard to get the other side because the garage is closed. So let me see if I can squeeze by. There we go. There's the passenger side. I showed that earlier in the video. But really clean. Really clean. And if you guys are interested in getting something like this done, I'll link the turn signals below where I got them from. They're about $100, so it's not too bad. You can find them probably a little bit cheaper on different sites. These I didn't get from Subi Speed. I forget where I got them from. I think I got them from JDM Toy or something, or SMY Performance, something like that. Either way, they're like about 99 bucks. It's a pretty cool mod. It's not really that expensive, so if it's something that's in your budget and you want to, you know, do some lighting or something, this is definitely a cool little thing to do. Here's a little bit different view. Here's you know, against the car. And as you kind of come out, you can kind of see it more. It does have a little bit of a light on the side here, so people can see it when they're coming up to you or on the side of you. Guys, there's the install. Appreciate you guys checking out the video. If you have any questions, be sure to ask them below. I'll be more than happy to answer. I try to answer everybody's question. I'll leave links below for the turn signals, as well as all the other mirror mods that I have. You know, the turn signals, the mirror caps, as well as the mirrors itself. All in all, this is about 500 bucks worth of mirror mods. Doesn't look like much, but yeah, that's what it costs, and it kind of hurts to say that, but it is what it is, and I really do like how these turned out. I like the contrasting mirror color or design compared to the car. I don't know, I prefer that, and it kind of matches the roof and everything. So yeah, cool little mod, really happy with it. Did take me 2 days to do, but I took my time and I made sure I did it right. I wanted to make sure I ran the lines very cleanly and OEM-like, so you can't even tell that anything is done. And yeah, cool little mod. I'm happy I finally did it. It's been kind of sitting on my shoulders for the better part of a year, so now that I have the time to do it, I'm glad I got it done. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, be sure to ask them below. If you haven't hit that like button, be sure to hit that like button. It really does help. I've been noticing there's been more likes on the videos, and it really has been helping. So be sure to hit that. If you're a newcomer and you're just checking out my videos and everything, I'm trying to post as much as I possibly can. Be sure to check out some old videos. I have a mod or a review video basically on every single mod on the car. So if you're curious about anything on this car, you can ask the question below, or which I recommend, take a search through my old videos. I have a video on it. I have a few things coming up I'm really excited about that I'm gonna make some videos on, so be sure to check them out once I get them out. Update on the wheels and the other mods. I have these for sale right now. I have so many people hitting me up right now. It's insane, asking me the price and you know, all the specs and all that stuff. So it's kind of getting a little tiresome, so I'm kind of hoping somebody just buys them. I might just sell them with the tires as well and get a whole new wheel and tire set, but who knows? I'm not sure which way it's gonna go, but I do have some interested people in it. So hopefully these do sell, even though I do really like them. It's just time for a change for me. I've had them for a very long time. I'm looking to kind of change things up. So there probably will be new wheels in the near future, just depending on when these go. So there'll be a whole video on that of test fitting and how they, just I'm going to ceramic coat them and do all that stuff. So that's pretty interesting. And I think it'll be fun to film and show you guys. Also, along with those, I'm going to get all the other mods that I mentioned. I think I'm going to go with option A that a couple videos ago, I went over the option A or option B of which route I was going to go. I think I'm going to go with A, which is what a lot of people were recommending, just because it's a bunch of random stuff around the car that I think a lot of people will be interested in seeing. So I'm probably going to get all those along with the wheels if somebody does buy them. So I'm kind of waiting to see if these go first so I can place the big order and get those knocked out, as opposed to placing, a couple different orders and waiting and everything. Because what's going on right now, it's, shipments and packages and everything take a long time, and I want to make sure I have everything that I want in one order so it all comes in time. So that's it for this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.